Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and in this video I'm doing a 2024 update for the PlayStation 3. This is one of the original models, not like the first SKU, but it's the 80 gigabyte. Unfortunately, it's not the backward compatible one. I kind of wish it was. Those had, they would still be $600, $700, $800, sometimes more if they were still boxed. I think their value came down a whole lot now, but I really don't have any desire to get it because I've never had any issues. I've never had the yellow light of death. I've never had any issues with this PlayStation. I don't play it that much, but I think I have booted it up in maybe the last year, so it still should work. The last video I did on it was in 2020, and certainly things have changed a lot in the past 4 years. That was quite a hectic year. So one of the things that hasn't changed is the PS3, and I think this console still has a lot of value simply because of that cell architecture processor. As far as I know, the PS5 can't even, at least not efficiently, play those games natively. You can't put a PS3 disc in, it won't work. Now you can't do a PS2 one either, but PS4 works fine. And then on the Series X, you can play a lot of 360 games. The more popular ones they made backward compatible through emulation, and the original Xbox. On the PS5, pretty much all your PS4 games, maybe all of them, and the PS3 ones are either, I think they're all cloud. I don't think there is any way to emulate on that console, and it maybe never. I don't know why. It must be that cell architecture. So the best way to play your PS3 library is to simply still have a PS3. And as I had mentioned, I'll just show this shot here. Now, I think in my past video, I had it off the shelf and I kind of showed what it looks like. I mean, if there's still enough interest in this, I could do some more videos showing it, the finish. I might even try and polish it up a little bit. It's still pretty good. I didn't move it that much. And a little more backstory on it. I got this console in 2010. I got my original 360 in 2006 for Christmas. So I had this one. This one came way later. I think it might have been a 2008 or maybe even 2007 model. It was after they had the Motorstorm 80 gigabyte bundle, which was software backwards compatible with the PS2. Some of the titles. The ones prior to that were the 60 that had, I think, the whole Emotion engine, PS2 in them, but they were also known to have a higher failure rate because all that extra heat being generated. So this is the one after that. I think it was bundled with the first series of the DualShock 6-axis controllers. So you didn't have the Chrome here. You only have two USB ports. This doesn't open. So you're losing some of that. But in of itself, I think this is almost a collector's item now. It was the 60 gigabyte Chrome full backward compatibility. But now, I mean, can you find a fat PS3 that's this clean and still works? Some people say I should take it apart and do the thermal paste and stuff. I don't know. If I was playing it all the time, maybe I would. If I wanted to, if anything, I'd rather just play it until it breaks, and then if I wanted to put the money in it, I'll just go ahead and buy like a refurb 60 gigabyte model that's already been gone over. And I did upgrade this. I think it's a 700 and some gigabyte, 7200 RPM hard drive. I think that was what I upgraded it to. It is definitely at least 700 gigabytes and it's 7200 RPM. I did that many years ago. But I'm going to go ahead, power it on, see if I still have a game in it, and hopefully it'll work without any issue. I just tried something similar with my 360, and it was much more of a nuisance. It actually did work with my gateway, but I had all kind of trouble signing in. And then since it has two-factor authentication, I guess the console can't decrypt it or something, so you have to do it on a browser. And it just was hard to get it up and running, and it didn't even work that good. Which again is kind of crazy when you consider that the 360 is backward compatible on a Series X. So they still have to have the servers up for the DLC and stuff. And it hardly worked, to where I think the last time I played the PS3 was just a year ago, and I think everything still worked with it. And if I move over here, you can see I do have the 360, which I also covered. It was a great generation. I mean, I have the GameCube here in the middle. Did a video on it last year. I have it modded out. but these ones I've kept the way they are. I'm sure now there are mods and homebrew and stuff, but I'm pretty happy with them the way they are. This pretty much just always sat here as well. As you can see, I still have the power. I accidentally hit the button. It is nice. This is touch sensitive, and so is this. Now this one needs plugged in, and I'm going to go ahead and do that next. All right, so I have it hooked up to power. I always wanted this camo DualShock controller. I bought this a few years ago. I think I got it for like $20 or $30. It's almost like new. The thumbsticks were kind of getting a little, not dry rotted, but they were kind of getting a little tacky and didn't feel as good. So I put these Skull & Co. ones on. They fit real nice, add a lot of grip to it. But this controller is really clean. Now, to keep this charged, you do need a mini USB, so it's a little bit different. So you probably have some micros laying around, but these are the mini. This is the original one. You can tell because it had that like big ferrite core on it too. So I did charge it up a little bit, and this was pretty new to begin with, so I think this one still has good battery life. So hopefully I can start it with this. It worked. As you can see, we're up and running. Looks like we have a disc in it. Let's see what it is. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2007. That's actually a game I just got. Well, I say just. I think it was like all the way back in 2020 or 2021 now. So I'll go ahead and look at that. Now, you'll see how it kind of twists as it goes in. I'm not sure if there's like two rollers and maybe one's jammed or doesn't spin as well, or if it's supposed to do that. That I don't know. But it still feeds in and out, so that's great. Now, one of the neat things about this generation of consoles, being the PS3 and the 360, is, I mean, they're definitely dated. They're kind of getting retro, but they're still modern enough. You know, they still use HDMI. Now, obviously, it's different than the 2.1 or whatever 4K 120 hertz that the new ones are capable of. But the point is, though, it's still really convenient that I don't have to get a converter, I don't have to get an upscaler. I can just plug it directly in. This is a Samsung S95B. I'm going to go ahead and reboot it again so you can see the load screen. You just get up and running. I didn't have any issues, so I didn't have to do any updates. It still kept me signed in. Evidently, it's working with my newer gateway. I mean, I know I hooked up to it last year, but there's no issues. So everything's still working, and for a console that's almost 20 years old. Now, okay, this time there is a software update. I didn't see that the last time I booted up. So, 4.91. So I would like to see what I'm on now. That's what's so cool about this console. They're still updating it. They're still supporting it. And you kind of have to. Well, you don't have to, but again, like the 360 Xbox did a pretty good job with making a lot of that backward compatible. Not all the games, certainly, but a lot of the good ones, you know, Call of Duties and Halo, obviously, all the first-party stuff. But there's a good bit to where the PS3, you have to have the premium tier to do, and you have to do cloud streaming, so you have to have internet capable of it to play any PS3 games. So if you still have the original hardware, it's kind of, that might be doing it just to make it harder for homebrew and stuff, but in custom firmware. But I'm sure those updates, I'm sure you can still easily get around that. I'm sure there's quick solutions to a console this old. I really like this menu system, the cross-media bar. So I'm just one update down. I'm never online with this anyway. So I will go ahead and update this, and I guess I will just talk some nonsense as it's updating. But that's really nice. Like I said, and you can check my other video if you want to see about the 360. But I was having all kind of issues with it. I have a T-Mobile home internet gateway. I believe it's Wi-Fi 6E. And my Xbox actually would connect to it. It just wouldn't go on the internet, but I was connected to the gateway itself. So I thought maybe there was some issue with 5 gigahertz. even though it should be on auto where it'll switch between 2.4 and 5. So I tried an Ethernet cable and it still didn't work. I was starting to think maybe there's something else to it, and it was just a sign-in issue. So that was more that issue. So it's actually impressive that both consoles are still working with modern routers. Now, if you're just strictly on a 5 gigahertz network, maybe this wouldn't work. You might want to make it 2.4. I don't know that for sure. I'm just guessing. If it is compatible with 5 gigahertz, then I'm using a 6E router with 5 gigahertz. Then that would be really impressive that it's still, you're not getting the full bandwidth. You're limited to what the antenna and the network card in it are, but that doesn't really matter. Just the fact that I'm even signed in, I'm downloading an update on this thing. I mean, this was the same era as the PSP. That console was so easy to hack, so easy to mod, and there hasn't been updates probably in 15, if not 20 years. Probably more like 15. But the fact that this one still has an update on it, that's crazy. The fact that I'm still signed in. And this is a really good console to still have. You don't have to have the fat one. You can get the slim. The last gen slim was kind of like the chintzy sliding cover for the disk drive. If you can get it at a good deal, I'm not going to say don't get it. But even the Spat PS3, it's just so nice that this stuff still works. On a 4K TV, everything still looks really sharp. Now, obviously, this is a little bit of a higher end TV. It should have a good upscaler in it. But the fact that it's still using HDMI, it's just so simple. I'm still able to plug in wirelessly, wireless controller, and everything still works just as it did back then on a modern TV. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and let this update finish. Maybe do see if the store works. Just play around on the cross media bar a little bit. And then I want to get to some games. That's what it's all about. But I know this is going to be a longer video. You can tell I'm excited about it. I'm just really happy with this. I think I'm going to be playing my PS3 a lot more now because I still have some games on there that haven't been touched. Okay, so update's complete. I'm back on the home screen. Now, updates do take a little bit of time. It probably wasn't even 5 minutes for the whole thing to download and install. Obviously, on the PS5, it's much quicker. You know, it's maybe 30 seconds to install it. But now I'm updated, so everything's still legit. Everything's still supported. Even have my old picture. I think I took that picture. These are PS Vita, because that was my wall of my little tiny printed out posters taken on the PS Vita. This is a PS Vita screenshot. Oh, you have to see. How about that? Doesn't really let you zoom in too much. Little pitching like he's Nolan Ryan. Those must have just been some accidental screenshots. But you know, that's cool. I mean, you can do this on a PS5. I think if you plug in a flash drive to your Xbox Series console, I think you can view contents in a media viewer. But I mean, it's just right here. Like, there's no going in and out of apps. It's right there. It's like it's your desktop. This was such a good console. You could do the same thing with music, but I didn't put any music on it. Gran Turismo, game trailers, Drive Club. I just want to see how quickly. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I mean, even on a fast new console, it's going to open the app. It's going to go through a splash screen. Then you can pick it. But this was right. Look, I'm back. That's really nice. I shouldn't be enjoying this as much as I am. You did have some apps. These came later. I don't think these were anywhere near at launch. Internet browser. I mean, I'm just going to open it. Why not? It's outdated. That might be PlayStation.com. Oh man, I don't even know how to use it. I don't even remember how to bring up the URL thing. Yeah, so that's PlayStation.com. That's what I have the home page to. Maybe I can go to search. I'm sure glad it didn't save my search history from all those years ago. Okay, so that's like old school Google. But let's see. I mean, it works. All right, I don't know how to get. Okay. I mean, it kind of still works. Let's just see. Okay, it won't go to eBay. So it has like the old version of Google, which must still be able to load. So it kind of works. Um, so even my PS5 friends are showing up on here, which is neat. Because I know on the Xbox, your 360 friends you can see on your 360, but if you've added Xbox One or newer friends, they don't show up. You can't see them. To where it looks like the PS5, and that's nice because I have a PS Vita, and when I turn it on, I think it'll sign in too. So it's just nice that it's all still somewhat streamlined and integrated. One thing, speaking of streamlined, is the PlayStation Store. They ruined it. It used to be so nice, and then they made it kind of look like I think how the PS4 one was. The PS5 one's kind of more built into the home screen, kind of like the old Xbox 360 dashboard was, which I actually like that design. But they really, you can see like that load there. Let's see if anything loads in. The store still works on my PS Vita. There's not much on it, but you can still go through your purchase history and stuff like that. I think I used my PS Vita as recent as last year, maybe even 8 months ago. I don't know. So let's go back to games here. So you can still see your demos. Far Cry 4 demo. Madden 25. I mean, Madden 25 was actually one of the better Maddens compared to how bad they are now. It was also a cross platform or cross generation Madden, but I wouldn't mind playing that again just for the heck of it. Mass Effect Trilogy. Now that's interesting because I have the Mass Effect Legendary Edition on the three or on the Series X. I also have Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on the 360, the original titles, which are back compat for the X, so I can play them twice. If I wanted to play it again, because the game had so many different choices, minus the ending, which I won't get into that, that was disappointing. But this was, I believe, Mass Effect 1 was not ever made available for the PS3, so I guess this is the old trilogy. Yeah, it has to be. It's only 33 gigabytes. So this is just definitely just the three original games. No upgrades or anything. It's definitely not the Legendary Edition. So we got Black Ops 2, we got GTA 4, Red Dead. We got a game as new as 2K18, which I think is one of the worst 2Ks. But the collections, the Ratchet and Clank collection, that I don't know if I know they made what the Crash games for the PS4 and the PS5, and the Uncharted ones they redid those, so those are better quality. I don't know if they ever did a Ratchet and Clank um, collection for PS5 or PS4 that's remastered. So some of these collections, you got the Splinter Cell collection. I think you have a Final Fantasy collection, the Ratchet and Clank, God of War. I think some of the God of Wars have been remastered, but I'm not sure on that. But regardless, there's still many collections for the PS3 that you can play on here. So the store kind of works. It's laggy. I almost don't know if it was this good the last time I used it. Maybe it kept my place. Does it show? It does show screenshots. Okay, those are definitely the PS4 version. That's not the. I mean it. I think it. They must have improved a little bit because it's not too bad. But I haven't scrolled that deep in. Yeah, I mean the fact that it still works, but that's enough of that. Unfortunately, I think the greatest loss is there's no more PlayStation Home. There's no more folding at home. There's no more of those original cool things with the PlayStation. Let me boot up the game since this is in here. Those are some games I never installed. Some demos. One thing I always liked with PlayStation games is some of them have music, but they have like a little bit of a splash screen behind them, which I think all the games now do. That one was always so loud, it'd just scare you if you didn't know it was coming. Some more games here. I think a lot of these were games I downloaded when I got PS Plus. Yeah, I'm really happy. And as I'd probably mentioned, there's just more value to having a PS3 than there is a 360, just because it might not be something that'll ever be emulated natively on a PlayStation. I just don't know. At least there are some games in the premium tier of the PlayStation Plus membership, so that's good. But it's nice when everything still works. All right, how about that? I created everyone's favorite president. Even in 2007, they had the graphics. It was just basically made for this game. All these years later, the resemblance is uncanny. So this works. I'm not gonna play it because there's a couple other games I'd rather show. And then you get the cross media bar. Still, it's way slower when you have a game running. You can see it's kind of dropping frames here. But I'll go ahead and put in another game. So where else are you going to play Motorstorm? I don't know if they've ever... I know they don't make the game anymore. There's no continuation after whatever the last one was that they made. I don't know if you can... I don't think they ever redid them for PS4 or 5. I don't know if they're in the catalog on PlayStation Plus. You can see my controller says it's fully charged, and it's still holding a charge, so it's not garbage. Is there still an online server with the original? Okay, so that's gone. That's okay. I'll just play like I I haven't touched this game in so long. I don't even know what to pick here. I don't remember how the game works or anything. I just remember a lot of mud and cars that look like they belong in northwestern PA. Here's some of the limitations, like as long as that took to load in. Just go with that because it's so absurd. And there's a couple more games I want to show. So again, it's going to be a little long, but you can always skip through it. I'm sure there's still plenty of videos out there, but I don't know. It's just something different. I'd rather have more of a long form video on something a little nostalgic, a little less common than just doing something modern. Everyone's doing that. So if I can offer something a little different, and I'm enjoying it too, so hopefully it's worth the watch. I'm just trying to come up with stuff to say while it's loading, but I will say the load times are pretty bad. But this was the first, this was the early on game, first in the series. Doesn't really seem fair that I'm going up against some, like, quads or motorcycles or something up ahead. Oh, I forgot, yeah. Oh, I didn't make it too far. I forgot that the boost is just available at any time. You don't have to collect it. I do believe the future installments of this game were better received and probably better made. See if I can run these people over. If I don't go off the hill. See, games back in this generation even were still a lot more arcade focused. They were more fun. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there was still Gran Turismo, obviously, and Forza, which at this point was the Motorsport series was probably pretty fledged out, but there was way more arcade titles back then. Now, if this was Road Rash, I could just, like, hit him with a club. Not bad. For not remembering how to play in the game, and then I wrecked right at the beginning. Not bad. So I will go ahead and switch to the next game. And as I've mentioned, as far as backward compatible games, which is more of, again, a 360 thing, but one series or genre you'll never see is like sports games. You'll never see Maddens, you'll never see NBA Live or NCAA. Any of it's just they want you to buy the newest game. And back in the day, in this generation even, you wanted the newest game. It was better and everything. Now, most people have figured out, maybe minus the 2K basketball, a lot of sports games, especially Madden, are terrible now. So, a few games like this, I think EA Sports is actually coming out with a new college football game. So hopefully it'll be okay. But if it's Frostbite or anything like Madden, I'm going to prefer to play this older game. And again, I got 13 just because the price of 14 is crazy. Another good one, which is on screen, is All Pro Football 2K8. This, I would much rather play this game than whatever that mobile weird card game crap thing that 2K came out with. That I have no interest in playing that at all. I would much rather play 2K8. And that's actually a recent pickup for me. I believe it was 2021 that I bought it. So I kind of forgot how to play this game. I was kind of learning it. And as someone that's always played Madden, I was so young when I played 2K5, I couldn't figure it out because I was used to Madden. And then once I played it a little bit, but it was so long ago, I never really learned it. And since it was different, I just went back to Madden. But the presentation here is really good. I don't think they're playing any music. So I'll turn this up a little. I mean, the graphics are a little dated, but... And I would much rather get these games on PlayStation, PS3 than 360, even though they were cross-platform games. I'd prefer just to play them on the PlayStation, it just works a little bit better for me. I don't know if I kicked it right. And not terrible. I mean, and one thing though, I will say, there are emulators, RP or RCPS3. You could probably play this game at a higher resolution and it would look a little better. It actually looks a little bit better on the screen, on the viewfinder than on this 55-inch TV. It's definitely a little bit more pixelated, a little more aliasing. That was definitely a Madden logic play, so trying to show off, and they just like used a really weird play. I don't know how to pick plays either. I probably should. Someone's gonna be all mad at me. Like, you don't even know how football works. Oh, I guess you can't show the play art like you can on Madden. Okay, there's the play art. Yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with getting an emulator, but it is nice to play on original hardware as well. And especially with the PS3, it definitely works. I have the Legion Go, and I haven't played too much in terms of emulation, but it did seem like RC PS3 does work. But I had problems with the field loading. I don't know if that's like a texture thing or shaders or something. And I'm sure if I played it enough that I wanted to, I could find the fix for it. But it's kind of convenient to just play on this hardware. It just works like it did back in 2007 and 2008, as the game was intended. Oh, I didn't want to do it. I keep thinking that's the play art. There's the play art. Oh, wow. That was a nice animation, too. Oh, wow. Okay, we know I'm ending this gameplay here because this is as good as that's going to get. And I threw off my back foot, too. I didn't think it would even be, like, near him. I love the running animation, too. Like, you can feel there's just that weightiness to it. But I don't know. I don't remember too much about NHL 2K. I didn't even play much EA 2K or EA NHL. But I know with NBA, like, they felt like so much heavier and like had so much more momentum than the NBA Live counterpart, which was just much quicker and kind of just felt like you were going through the motions. You just kind of run up and down the field with or the court with no consequence. Compared to here, it just felt like you had more momentum and weight. But I gotta stop that there. That looked really good. Again, this is a fun game to play. If there's interest, I could do like a let's play of the gameplay of it. I'd have to learn the game more, but I'm having fun. Just revisiting this makes me want to keep my PS3 hooked up, keep playing it. See, I actually had so much fun with that game. I had to stop. I played the whole game. I ended up winning. It wasn't that good because I didn't remember the controls or anything. But that's one of the fun things. Like if I was trying to play a modern Madden and I was making a video, like as soon as I finished, I'd cut the game. I'd stop it there. But this game, because it's old, it's nostalgic, it's different than anything out now. it was so worth playing. And that's just kind of exclusive to these consoles. And this is kind of similar with the NCAA 13. I probably won't show too much. I think graphically this game looks a lot better than NFL or All Pro Football 2K8. I don't even know if I've ever played it. I think I started it and like made a profile. I really don't even remember how to play. Like before this, the last college football game I played was I think 06 or 07. Might have been 07. It was on the 360. So that was a long time ago because I played it like that game was like current when I bought it. So I'll play a little bit of this. And if they're not playing music, I can, which they probably will because they'll probably play like the bands or something. But I mean, this is definitely fun. And it's something that the PS3 and 360, they just kind of sit on my shelf. I don't even have that much time for games anymore. And it is kind of convenient with the Legion Go or the Steam Deck or PC. Most modern things can probably play most emulation. Maybe not the PS3, all of them or something, but it is kind of convenient to have them all in one place. But at the same time, when you have time to play on a TV, and it's a 4K TV, it still looks okay. And just with the original controller, I'm actually pretty happy with it. So again, I'll just play like a wee little bit here. I don't know, the graphics aren't that good. The field textures are pretty muddy. It feels so much different playing, going from playing 2K to EA. So the run controls are different, and again, like I was saying, like everyone moves so much faster. In EA Sports, there's not as much momentum or weight. I think I'll just try and get down the field, and then I'll probably cut this one. It definitely looks a lot better on camera than it does in person. Again, just all the detail on the TV, it's a little fuzzy. One thing I will say is there's definitely more plays to pick from in the EA games. But at the same time, there are plays that have been in basically all the Maddens and stuff. Some common routes. Fourth. Well, it wouldn't be any fun to punt, so I'll just go for it. Because I'm just play this one drive. I think this is the exact same play I just ran. I'd probably have the difficulty pretty low. I mean, the controller's still full health, or full battery life, and I didn't even charge it for all that long. It is a controller I just bought a few years ago, and it probably wasn't used much because I know my original one, the sticks are pretty worn out. I think the bumpers are to where they were kind of sticky and didn't want to work real good. And it did not hold good battery life. I mean, you probably still get at least an hour or two, which honestly isn't even much worse than even the PS5 controller. They don't last very long. But this one's been pretty good. This camo one I got. Happy to have it. And obviously I got to go for this, because why not? Let's do a QB sneak. Oh, I didn't want to do that. It's back on 2K is the triangle. And then back on EA would just be circle, which is what I'm used to. Alright, so that made me look pretty good. Even though I had to do 2 fourth down conversions, but for a game I've probably never really played, can't complain that much. Alright, so I think I'll leave it there. You can see definitely a few fun games. All Pro Football 2K, you're not going to find that on any console. It's not going to be backward compatible. The price of that game's probably going up. Of course, you can do emulation. Same with the NCAA, sports games in general. All those collections that you can get, Ratchet Clank, God of War, Tom Clancy, etc. There was a lot in that generation, and a lot from Sony specifically, and I'm happy with it. Again, I had problems with the Xbox trying to stay signed in. I'm signed in. I haven't gotten signed out once. Did an update, so it's still somewhat supported. Everything works. It's working with my modern router. No issues. I mean, I'm obviously not getting the peak performance out of it, but I don't need it. I'm not playing anything online. If I did want to play, like Black Ops or one of the old Call of Duties, I'd probably just play the 360 back compat versions on Series X if the servers and lobbies are still up. Whether there's more on PS3 or more now on Xbox, since if people wanted to play it, they'd probably want to play it on that hardware. But either way, you can't go wrong. I love having both consoles, have the Series X, have the PS5, but I also have the PS3 and the 360. And to touch on it one more time, as far as the 360 goes, it's probably not something I'm going to boot up too much unless I want to play like Guitar Hero or something that you just can't play on the new console. But the PS3, it just feels different. Yeah, I have all those games. I still feel like the console is up to date. I still feel like I can use it and not feel like it's outdated. And I'm still on the internet with it. Can't do much on the internet with it, but it's still, everything works. You see, I put a few different games in, didn't overheat. Controller's still full battery. No problems with the disk drive. Nothing. It worked. It's wireless. Controller is wireless. It's hooked up on Wi-Fi. On a 4K TV via HDMI. There's nothing I can complain about. It worked just as it should. So it's no different than in 2020 when I did that video. I'm very happy with it. I got a few games. I'm tempted to get a few more. prices are probably only going to go up, so emulation may be the way to go. But since I have this hardware, I'm not going to abandon it, and I have quite a bit of hard drive space left, so there's plenty to install on here and a lot of fun to be had. And whenever that day comes, like with the Vita, like with the PSP, whenever Sony quits putting out any updates, and even if they cut the online support, then I can feel comfortable hacking it, put some homebrew on it, and I could probably put some games, obviously, that I own, just put the ripped versions on here to save that disk drive, if you know what I mean. But I'll leave it here. If there's anything else, I don't think I need to help much. I mean, you should be able to just, as long as you have your password and you know it for your PlayStation, I don't think you're going to have any issues like you kind of do on Xbox. So just hook it up, update it, and you should be good to go. So I'm really happy with it. Definitely check it out. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm really happy with it. I'm enjoying the PS3 more than I enjoyed the PS4. And there's really not that many games for the PS5. I'm just kind of playing mostly PS4 games on it. So the PS3 just in a league of its own. It may never be replicated. So if you have one, hang on to it. Otherwise, hopefully this video was enjoyable. See how it's going here in 2024. And hopefully I can do an update again of the same console in a few more years if there's interest. So thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.